Welcome to another episode of the Naughty Grape Vine, a series dedicated to expanding your appreciation of wines and spirits. For those of you not familiar with the Naughty Grape, we are actually one of the largest retailers of internationally renowned wines and spirits brands on the island of Trinidad. We also stock a huge collection of complimentary food and accessory items. We also offer an online shopping experience for our patrons via naughtygrapett.com, where you can shop online for pickup in-store or delivery to your door. Today I have with me a familiar face to most of you, Mario Pereira, who you can see in and around our stores or even delivering your packages directly to your door. Mario, today we're talking about that delicious Moscato wine. So we carry a lot of Moscatos in our portfolio, but what are some of the more popular ones that people come looking for?
Definitely, like from the Sutter Home range, the Mezzacorona, the Hardies, the Woodbridge, we have a wide variety.
It seems to me that there's quite a span. So because this grape seems to be very old, there are a number of regions that actually produce Moscato wines. So you've called out Sutter Home, and from Woodbridge, we also, which are from California. And from Mezzacorona is from Italy. We also carry a huge sparkling portfolio, but we also carry a Moscato Rosé and a pink Moscato, which has become very popular recently.
Yes.
In terms of still wines, we carry from Australia a Hardy Stamp Moscato, and from Sutter Home the pink Moscato. And those are some of the ones that we'll be tasting today with you. And just for some differences, even though those are newer wines, in the white wines, we're going to taste the Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi Moscato, which is considered New World, and the Mezzacorona, which is from Italy, an Old World wine. Without further ado, I don't get started. So let's start off with the California from Woodbridge. California ones are actually the most popular ones in store, as they outsell any of the other brands 2-to-1.
Correct.
But I mean, all these wines are quite delightful. So if you're experimenting, we suggest trying as many wines from different regions to figure out, if there are certain nuances that you may prefer from an old world to a new world wine, or even from country to country. So let's get it going. So Moscato wine should definitely be chilled, as they are quite sweet. It tends to be very syrupy if it's left at room temperature. Giving it that chill kind of opens up those flavors and makes it a little more refreshing. Yeah. And as an introductory wine, it's actually very approachable. So if someone is looking to get into the world of wine, a Moscato is the perfect grape for you to recommend for them. I forgot to mention also there's actually a red Moscato. So in case people have a preference for red wines, there's a red one that you can always try, and that one is from Sutter Home too, out of California. So first of all, when we pour the wine, we're swirling it around in the glass because we want the air to come in contact with the liquid. This way it opens up the flavors and the aromas. And then we sniff, because taste is associated with smell. So what you want to do is take a good sniff of it, so that when you actually taste the wine, you can get whatever you smell can be translated onto the palate. Yeah.
I definitely taste peach. It's peach and melon. Yeah,
I'm definitely getting those fresh fruits.
Yes.
And considering that it's a sweet wine, it's not overpowering. So it's quite pleasant, actually.
It's very pleasant, yes.
Perfect. So we'll definitely recommend this particular wine with like fruit and cheese platters. And it's actually quite easy drinking because, as I said, it's not overpowering. It's something that you can sit and enjoy on its own also. So the next wine that we're going to taste is the Mezzacorona Moscato. And this wine, as I mentioned, is from Italy. So we tasted a New World wine, and now we're going to taste an Old World wine just to see if there are any differences. Now, generally, Moscato wines, they say, have citrus notes, and you also get nuances of flowers and cinnamon coming out. And then peach and apricot are actually the predominant fruits that you would find. We already identified peach in the Woodbridge. So let's see if we're getting any hints of that here, or what other fruits come to life. Let's go for you. So once again, give it a good swirl and let those aromas open up. Take a deep sniff. Oh, you can smell the difference. Oh, Mario jumped
Oh
ahead.
yeah,
How dare
definitely.
you?
I couldn't wait. Definitely taste the apricot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And likewise, this is not an overpowering
It's not.
wine also. When you think about Moscatos, you generally think, you know, very, very sweet. But these wines are so pleasant.
Yeah.
That's it. You know I said that for the Woodbridge, but you know, I'm actually pleasantly
Yes.
surprised at the Mezzacorona also.
The sweetness is not as bold as the Woodbridge.
Wonderful. If I can just bring back in the Woodbridge for a second here. This one is so much more citrusy. You're getting, more acidity coming out from the wine, a little more hint of that here. I can't say if I have a preference because I think they're both quite enjoyable. I would recommend any of these to anyone who wants to experiment with a Moscato. So now we're going to taste the pink Moscatos. We carry 2 in the portfolio right now in the bottle format because we also carry a box format of pink Moscato from Franzia. And just on a side note there, box wines are actually quite affordable. It's the equivalent of 2 bottles in 1 box, and because you don't have that bulky packaging, that actually makes it more cost effective. And of course, the wines last much longer. They can hold up to 6 weeks if it's stored correctly. So back to the tasting. So we have the Hardy Stamp Moscato from Australia and the Sutter Home Pink Moscato from California. Now, I'm not sure if the camera can pick this up, but if it is, you have a look at the label. This particular wine actually has a vintage on it. The vintage is the year, and vintage really means that the year in which the grapes were harvested. If you have a look at the Sutter Home label, however, there is no vintage on it, which means that they took a number of, or a combination of vintages produced from different years to come together to make this wine. And basically they do that because they want a level of consistency in the production. Whereas if a wine is vintage, the tasting notes can vary from year to year. So without further ado, let's taste the Hardy Stamp Pink Moscato. As we start to pour, we're actually seeing some fine bubbles popping up here. And these bubbles are actually, what they actually do is that they make the wine less concentrated in terms of sweetness. So once it's perfectly chilled, these bubbles kind of mask that sweetness and make it a little more palatable for persons who may not necessarily be into sweet wines. Also, how did the wine get its pink color? In most cases, they start off as irregular white wines, but a hint of Merlot or other red wine is added to give that signature pink color that we see. Mario jumped ahead again.
I can't help myself.
All right, so I'm going to take a good sniff of this. This one is actually very light, flowery. Yes. You're getting some citrus. I'm trying to find the right word to describe this here. It's like fresh fruit.
Like a berry or cherry.
Maybe. Let's have a taste and see. All those bubbles create a wonderful sensation on the palate.
Yes, it does.
And this wine, though it's sweet, it actually seems more balanced. Not as sweet as the regular Moscatos, the white Moscatos that we tasted, but I think that's a function of the bubbles on the palate, that it's kind of balancing it out for us. Quite good.
Yes. Almost as though like it tricks the mind into thinking that it's a sparkling.
Yeah. So there's something for you to note. If you're looking for something with a little pizzazz to it, you can check out the Hardy Stamp Pink Moscato. All right, so why don't we taste the Sutter Home Pink Moscato from California, and then we can make a judgment call.
May I?
Oh, please do. So I'm going to bring these two together to just have a little look at it. And this too also has some very fine bubbles. However, the bubbles are not as apparent as the stamp when we poured it.
Yes.
The color is quite similar too.
It's a nice pale.
Yes, it's a very attractive pale pink color.
Yes.
All right. So let's Mario
Okay,
in time with me. In time with me. Thank you. Oh wow.
You get a lot more aromas from the Sutter Home.
You do. Oh.
Yeah.
Passion fruit.
Yes.
Melon.
Melon.
Oh, delightful.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a taste.
I'll let you go first.
So much more is happening on the palate here as compared to the Hardy stamp. And while the stamp was pleasant, as we said, with the bubbles actually masking the sweetness of the wine, this wine, you're tasting the sweetness, but there's a lot more complexity to this particular wine, surprisingly, considering that it is what we call an everyday wine. And I think that probably comes from the fact that they've combined a number of vintages together in order to make this wine very well balanced.
Almost as though it coats the entire palate.
Yes. Yes. The finish is quite long, is what you want to say there.
That's it.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what it is.
That's it.
So this particular wine has left more lasting impression.
Yes.
So today, I don't want to choose because we carry all these wonderful things on our portfolio, but I would say there's a little bit of something for everyone. So if it is that you don't want to go for something that's too sweet or something that has a little sparkle to it, so to speak, what we call frizzante kind of style, go for the Hardy stamp Moscato.
Yeah.
If it is that you are looking for something to pair more with foods, fresh fruit and cheese and all those lovely things, I would say go with the Woodbridge and the Mezzacorona.
Yes.
And then the Sutter Home, I think it's perfect. How can we say, if you're having a romantic night, this is probably, you know, something that you may want to get there and get started with.
You outlined it perfectly.
Yeah. So, to sum up, what we have in our portfolio is a huge range that you can choose from sparklings from Italy to still wines from Australia, California, Chile, what did I forget? Italy, to even box wine formats. And in the box wines, as I mentioned, we have the Moscato and the pink Moscato. Most of these wines range in between the 120 to 170, with the sparklings being just under 200. So there's something for everyone here, and because these wines are what, you know, Trinis all seem very comfortable with, we encourage you to come on down to the Naughty Grape or to visit naughtygrapett.com, where you can order online for pickup in store. Join us next time where we explore the wonderful world of wine or even cocktails. And just remember, you heard it first here on the Naughty Grape Vine.